Hey guys, this is Nathan and welcome back to TechNodeFirmaCraft. So there's been quite a bit going on between episodes. One of the most notable things is I have finally planted my garden. Now I basically planted about every seed that I have available. I have most of my grains right in this area, then I have vegetables all around in here. And as I was starting to plant over here, I started looking at this area here as a very good place to harvest some trees. So as I started to clear trees and replant them, I decided it might be a good idea to finally start planning out some roads and get a little bit of general base work done, planning out where certain buildings will be going and things like that. So what I'm going to do right now is pop up a little picture. This shows the areas that I want to have the roads laid out in. Now, as you can see, there is one that travels along the edge of the lake. This is the path that I use to go out to my iron mine, and I just kind of feel like that's a good place to have a road. Now, also, you can see a little bit up to the north, there is two spots. We get a branch in the road, and there's two spots where the road comes up against the ocean, and those are my two most common spots to make landfall when I'm coming back from doing something up north. So I want to get those roads put in right away. It's going to take a little bit of terraforming to make some decent path areas, because I don't want to have to be jumping constantly to be able to do that. And I think we're just going to use gravel. We're not going to put the borders on it. But so we'll have gravel and all of that. But what I want to do, we have glowstone here in this chest, and I would like to be able to use glowstone to light those paths. And the best way to do that is with carpenter's blocks. So if we look at carpenter's blocks, we can make these simply with some sticks and planks. Very simple. I've been collecting a lot of sticks from the wood collection, so we've got a lot of that available. But in order to turn these from blocks into stairs or slabs, we need the carpenter's hammer. Now to do that, we need a copper hammer and a carpenter's block. So that's pretty simple to do. I think, yeah, I have 1 ingot of copper left here. So I need to do just a tiny bit of forging, get that taken care of, and then I'll come back and we'll take a look at carpenter's blocks. Okay, so I have my copper hammer made up. So we need to make a carpenter's block and combine that with the hammer. That's going to give us our carpenter's hammer. And now what we can do here is we can place down a block, and this will accept basically any item to cover it. And we're going to be using gravel, but we want to shift right click some scapolite or glowstone dust on this first, and now this block is emitting light, and then we can cover it with gravel. And it still has the same characteristics of the gravel. It just says that it's a carpenter's block, and if we break it, we get all 3 items back. So that is something that we can do to eliminate these jack-o'-lanterns along the sides of the path. But also, we can take this with our carpenter's hammer and shorten it down to a half block, and that comes in really handy for being able to go up and down without having to jump. So yeah, I got to do a little bit of, like I said, terraforming, and I'll probably have to clear some trees out along the way. And also, I need to look into a better way to be able to turn this scapolite dust, or scapolite, into scapolite dust. Because running that through the quern over here gives us a hole of 2 of the dust for each one of the ore. And I believe we can get up to 5 out of that using mechanism. So if I take a look at this mechanism, well, I guess we want to look at the recipes on scapolite dust. Mechalar. What? Okay, so if we look at the recipes here, so we get 2 out of the quern, and we get 4 out of the enrichment. Oh, that's out of a block of scapolite. Okay. Yeah, we can get 5 out of 1 scapolite in the mechanism crusher. So, not quite. It's a 50% chance of the 5th one out of the immersive engineering crusher. Oh, demonic bees. I wonder if we can actually get that to work. We couldn't get some of the bees to work the last time that I was going through this. Rock crusher, oh, that's railcraft. So yeah, there's a couple of things there. That's not real good odds there. So maybe I'll have to look and see what is it going to take me to be able to make this mechanism crusher. But for now, I think I've got enough work to figure out how to get some of this other stuff done. So I'm going to get going on that, and I will be back in a little bit. So after a very extensive amount of work, I now have the path running along the edge of the lake. It runs all the way out to the iron mine. While I was doing this, I had to do quite a bit of terraforming to the edge of the cliff here in order to make it reasonably realistic looking. But also, there was a massive ravine down here, and I started filling that in with some of the andesite and schist cobblestone that I have just laying around. But I did run out of glowstone dust, so actually the lighting ends before this beehive. But this area right here is where the ravine is, back behind this. And I filled in quite a bit of it, but I did not fill in the whole thing. There's still a huge hollow void back there. But this area has gotten extensive terraforming in order to make it look decent. This area over here I thought about doing something with, but it actually kind of makes sense, but this is a little bit taller than I would probably like to see. So we can come all the way out here to the iron mine now without leaving a path, which is really nice. Now, unfortunately, this iron mine is just about spent, but I think I'm going to start doing this with all of my mines, the nearby mines at least. And so we're going to end up with paths running all over the place, and I think that's a good idea. It kind of simplifies the world, even though it makes it more complex. Kind of a backwards ideology, but it works. Now, up here, the trees have finally grown in the area that I had cut down, or at least the majority. It looks like there's still a few that haven't. But you can kind of get the feeling of what I'm going for here, which is just an absolutely dense forest. I want it to seem like just a huge natural forest. So the next step is to cut a path through here and make the same thing that I've done along the lake, running out to the ocean along the north. So it looks like this path is going to run right along the edge of this cliff, and then we're going to split in the 2 directions, one going towards this, I don't even know what type of tree that is, but it was one that just popped up out of nowhere, and then one going over here to this bay here. So I guess a whole bunch more work. I'm probably going to have to head down to the marble area and collect a whole bunch more marble gravel for this. So I'm going to be working for a while. I might actually live stream this. I haven't decided yet. So anyway, look at it. When I come back, I'll have some more paths done fully. I won't have to worry too much about cutting large numbers of trees down. But I'll figure that out as I go. So I had to load a backup of the world because after the live stream yesterday, I played for a couple hours, recorded a bunch of stuff, and then realized I had my microphone muted the whole time. And rather than just trying to explain it all afterwards, I'm just gonna do it over. So not that big of a deal. But before and during the live stream, I was working on these paths. I am really happy with the way they turned out. Got this one here running down into this little bay. I have a boat sitting here. And the other one, it was actually kind of an interesting little thing to try to figure out, because we had a very steep cliff over here. And so what I did is I bored down through the center of the cliff, and it worked out really good. I think I made it look reasonably natural. And then I've got stairs here instead of slabs, and I still have a few things to do here to make this a little bit more realistic in how it's set up. But I think later on I may actually put some kind of a dock system down here. I was thinking about doing that down at my base, but I think I'm actually going to do it over here because this is open to the ocean. Now, there's a couple of things that happened that are pretty important to talk about during the live stream. First one being, I now have a sleeping bag. This thing is made with 6 pieces of cloth and 3 iron nuggets. And this allows me to basically sleep anywhere that I want to. That is really handy, especially for when I go out mining, and it doesn't reset my spawn location either, so I can keep my bed down here in the base and sleep all the same. Now, another thing, we have this leather water sack now, and this thing is made with 4 rolls of hemp rope coil, 2 pieces of string, 2 water sack leather, and some type of an animal bladder. Now, this hemp rope coil is made with a treated stick and industrial hemp fibers. This treated stick, I finally had to do a little bit of stuff with immersive engineering. So we have the creosote that we've been getting in the coke oven. I grabbed a bottle of that, put the planks around it. That gave some treated wood planks, and then that's just cut up with a saw, basically any kind of saw, to turn it into the sticks. Then we have also these water sack leathers, and this is just with leather napping. So that is kind of an odd shape, but yeah, it kind of resembles the water sack. Now, this thing holds a considerable larger amount of water than the water jug, and also when I drink, it doesn't fill me up completely. And yeah, it's good and it's bad, but it will never break, and we can drink out of it for quite a bit longer than we can with the water jug, because the water jug is single use. Now, another thing that happened during the live stream, I spent a long time doing this, is I tamed a horse. So this guy allows me to be able to get out to the areas off to the east where we've been doing mining, as well as down to the south where I've been cutting acacia trees and things like that, a lot faster. Now, one thing that I found out while taming this horse, I have a rope broken, is that once you get this guy happy, you can't just get onto it. You can see if I right click here, it just tells me it's a male. If I shift right click, it just opens the inventory. So we can't just get on it. We have to actually attach a rope to the horse and then right click with an open hand on the saddle, and then we can get on. Now, if I try to disconnect the rope while I'm on the horse's back, it'll actually throw me off. But that's one thing that I found out. So to tame the horse, you actually have to have a rope on it. Not exactly something that I was anticipating. But we also did a little bit of talking about what's going on over here with the wall of the base. Now, we discussed a little bit about the various different kind of bricks that I've got over here, and what I think we've come up with is we are going to leave the rhyolite bricks in the stair areas but we are going to change the pillars to a darker block. Now, I believe if we look up TehNodeFirmaCraft, yeah, here we go. We were going to go with Dolomite. Dolomite is one of the darkest blocks we have available. The only one that's darker is Basalt, and that is too dark. But the Dolomite, I think, will look good. Now, if we take a look at the map, I actually found some Dolomite while I was exploring down to the south, and I believe it is this area right here. So, I think what I've got to do now is head down there and collect a bunch of rocks and other things. And man, it would be nice if I could just ride my horse down there. I can ride it quite a ways. I can head down through the forest over here, and if I take it, whoops, if I take a boat with me, I can go quite a ways. I don't know if this connects in over here, but we should be able to get pretty close with the horse, and then all that I have to do is come back same way, pick the horse up and come back. So yeah, I've got to go out and do some more resource collecting, and then I'll come back to the base. We'll take a look at a little bit more base work. Oh, and by the way, this horse is an incredible jumper. It's not much for speed, but its jump, I think it's like 3 blocks. So, yep. Alright, well, I'll see you guys after a little bit. Well, that was an awful lot of dolomite mining. So I have taken and filled my barrel with all kinds of things here, and actually if we take a look here at what I've got, this is just some of the stuff that I already had with me, but I've got a whole bunch of this dolomite sand that we are going to be using for the mud bricks, these guys here. Then I have a whole bunch of the dolomite cobblestone, as well as a bunch of gems, but on the way down here I stopped and picked up some galena, and we're going to be using that here very soon for our tech progression. Also, I've got a whole gob of dolomite here, as well as a few others. I did pick up a little bit of limonite here. That is why I chose this particular spot to mine. There was some exposed limonite here. So I haven't exactly found much. There was a whole 15 of them so far, and they're just regular strength, nothing fancy. But yeah, still got a bunch of sandwiches left, but I am definitely out of space. So I just have to go ahead and head back to the base. So yeah, like I said, I'm out here in this area. This is where I found that galena on the surface, and that's where my horse is. So I've got to get back to that same spot again. Head back up to the base, maybe swing through a few of these unexplored areas on the way. And then once I get back to the base, we'll take a look at what we've got as far as the appearance of these blocks. So I am back at the base. I've got my inventory all cleaned up again. Got everything put away here, so the barrel is now empty. Got quite a bit of the dolomite cobblestone. I've already turned 2.5 stacks of it into bricks. But so we ended up with, well, what would that be? Another half. So 7 plus 32. So 39 stacks of the cobblestone, and then 20 stacks of the sand. So I have that recipe set up here for the dolomite bricks. We're just going to grab a couple of recipes of that so that we can see how this is going to look. And also I think I am going to grab some of these carpenter's stairs, because unlike before when we had the chisel and we were making the stairs, with the carpenter's stairs we can actually get the stuff back later on. That shouldn't have hurt me. Yeah, whatever. So what I'm going to do here, I am going to remove these pillars and just see what this looks like. So let's go ahead and put a little of this in there. Ooh, that looks neat. Let's go ahead and try just a little more of this, just kind of get a feel for what this might look like I think this is going to look pretty cool. So I don't know if we want to also put this down the face of the water, or if we just want to do it above the water level. Ooh, that looks interesting. I'm kind of curious as to what it would look like with the dolomite bricks in the center. Let me go grab some more dolomite bricks, and we'll set up another one of these panels with the dolomite bricks in the center of the rhyolite. I think that might be worth taking a look at. So let's grab a few more of the dolomite bricks. And I suppose what I'll do is I'll just take the bricks, the brick stairs, the sandy brick? Yeah, sandy brick stairs out of these, because these I can just pick up, and we'll put the carpenter's stairs in their place. I think this might be kind of neat to see. So, no, that's not the way that I want you to sit. No. Boo! Sometimes I hate trying to get carpenter's blocks to go the way that I want. I have a feeling this is going to look pretty neat. And the best part about doing this with carpenter's blocks is we can light it up without having to worry about anything else. I actually think it looks better with the white pillars and the dark recessed areas. I don't know. I do not know. I like the color combination. I will say that. It's a very nice color combination. But, yeah, I'm going to need your guys' opinion on that. Which one do you think looks better? I am definitely in a quandary there. So I suppose what I'll do now is try to figure out exactly where I want this wall. And I'll try to lay it out. And also I need to continue working on this hill. I've got to get the terracing done on that. So, yeah, I think there's a lot more work to do. And like I said, be sure to leave a comment about what type of pattern you want me to use on that wall. I suppose I should probably also make up some of the mud bricks and see how those are going to look. So those do take a while to dry, but I don't know if I've shown how the mud bricks actually work. So clay and straw with sand makes the mud bricks, and then it's laying these out so that they can dry. Once they have dried, got to break them all down, and it is a very time-consuming process. And once you have picked them all up, you put them in a 2x2 in the crafting area, and they make a brick block. So yeah, I think it's something like 8 hours, 8 in-game hours for these to dry. So gonna have to just let this take its time. Yeah. Well, I will be back once these bricks are dry. We'll take a look at what those look like, and I don't know, maybe they'll work in place of the whatever, just the dolomite bricks. Alright, well, see you guys in a little bit. So I have been kind of toying around with the design of the wall in a creative world, and I'm kind of pleased with what I came up with. So it's a little bit bigger than what I have over here, but it actually incorporates all three of the stone types, or the brick types, I guess. And it definitely has a lot of depth to it. Now, another thing is that this also puts brick up here on top. Now, I don't know if I really want to have brick right there. I thought it was kind of neat having grass right behind the wall. But, yeah, I don't know. I can still have grass here. But once again, I need to know what you guys think. You know, do we want this? Do we want the dark pillars with the light stairs? Do we want something like this, two-tone dark? I think we could also try a slightly different light-colored brick in the center, but I really like this one. And also, if you have any ideas on anything that I could possibly do to improve this particular one, I think that would be kind of neat too. But it has a lot of potential. There's a bit more going on with it than just a bare wall. So, yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. But I think I am kind of at a point now where I should be able to say that's it for this episode. So I'm going to say thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to give a thumbs up. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. If you have any thoughts about what I've been working on, or something that you'd like to see, be sure to leave that down in the comments, and I will see you next time. Bye!